It's not because I'm trying to slander God or religion or anything. It's because I love someone enough to use the language that is needed to put them in the place that they need to be. Period.
Yeah.
And I will have this conversation with anybody that we can jump into the Bible any day of the week. I've read it multiple times. I know what it says, and I'll dive into it with anybody, hands down. And I will always go to the main part of it that says, you can't judge me. This is a conversation I get to have with God, and I'm comfortable with the conversation I get to have with God. So let's just stop this right here.
It says you can't judge people?
No.
Oh, man. No, but honestly,
Thou shalt not judge or judge others, for those will be judged by the Lord. And it's basically saying he's going to judge you 10 times harder than the way you judge people. So I don't understand why they try it at all.
Welcome back to the show, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Marty Norman. This is
Still Brian Gordon.
Still Brian Gordon. This is Talk Hard Podcast.
Yes, it is.
We are live right now in San Diego. Oh no, I hate California. I don't
Did you walk up
this
here?
thing just pops in my head. I'm trying to think of a city
That you hate? Like, who would want to go to San Diego voluntarily?
What'd you say?
If you're listening from San Diego, move.
So right now we are live in Valhalla. If you don't want to know where Valhalla is, well, you just have to do a little research in there because that's where I live presently. And where's my? I better not show that. It's probably Skull, everyone. Anyway, I'm an idiot.
Oh my gosh!
Welcome to the show, guys. We got a great show for you guys
Yes,
today.
we do.
But what I need for you, I need for each and every one of you watching this right now. We need your help in getting this message out there. This message of mindset. We are not victims in this world. We will not stand by. We will not go silent into the night. We are Americans. We are strong. We are proud, and we will not take any from you.
Oh, shit.
Welcome to the show, guys. Please like and subscribe. Send us over to your friends. We are going to be loud about some things that a lot of people want to be quiet about and they don't want to talk about. Well, you know what? We're going to do it. We're going to get canceled. We're going to get kicked off the air. Brian Gordon.
Maybe we'll get into that one a little bit later. Like we'll finish with that one. So if you want to know what we're talking about in the cancel perspective, I want people to earn it. So if you want to cancel us, you got to watch the whole thing, and at the end, we'll let you cancel us.
Cancel us, baby.
But in the meantime,
I'm tired of doing this crap anymore.
And I know you've touched on this, and so now we're finally seeing some of the media discuss this.
What are we talking about today, Mr. Brian Gordon?
So we're going to talk more about recovery, and I want to talk more about your specific branch of facilities.
You want to talk about my branch? What I want to talk about, I got some quarrels.
So here's my thing.
All right, we'll get into that.
So we did the math basically. So they're actually talking about this from the ages of 9 to 19. Mm-hmm. Every 5 seconds, someone overdoses.
Someone dies.
Every 5 seconds. So just for people to put this into
kid.
perspective, here, I got out my calculator so you don't think that, I'm good at math, but I want you to trust me here.
Roughly 300 people a day.
288.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
So when you do 60 divided by 12, you get 5. So 5 every hour times 24 is 120, right? 5 to 12, 12 to 24. There it is. See, even I'm messing it up now. So 5 times 12.
He's just doing 12 hours.
And then times 24 is 1,440 in a day. So in one day, we can clear out your whole entire high school.
And listen.
Your whole high school, if you go to a populated high school. Should I say that again?
And we're not talking about it on mass media boob tube.
No.
It's not on the news. It's not on the nightly news.
On a few of them. They are Fox News, and I know some of you hate it. I don't really care. They do cover some stuff.
Yeah, they touch on it. But let's talk about a real epidemic.
Yeah.
And then let's talk about, we do happen to talk about overdoses more so than anything else, right? But there's hundreds of thousands of other complications that come with addiction and alcoholism that people die from every day.
Absolutely.
Car crashes, heart disease, heart attacks, it's whatever,
seizures,
right?
I mean, you name it. It can be very dangerous to come off these substances.
So 100,000 people died last year from overdoses. Another 100,000 people died from alcohol and alcohol-related deaths. Yeah. And I bet if you take in perspective the fact of heart or drug addictions and complications and heart disease and car wrecks and all that stuff, it's at another 100,000. So right now, we're off the top of our head, we're looking at 300,000 people died last year from drugs and alcohol.
And for those of you that struggle with math, I'm sorry. Get out your phone and play this back one more time, and it'll all make sense. I promise. We're not just throwing numbers out there to throw numbers out there. These are factual data numbers, and what people don't seem to understand is when someone dies from a DUI. Now, we had Mothers Against Drunk Driving. They were strong for a very long time,
Mad.
now it's like they just don't have the political gain. I don't know why they stopped. It's kind of irritating that they stopped. But if someone
They're
dies
still
in a
out there.
DUI,
They still do it.
I don't care what you say, that person was an alcoholic. Because if you can't handle your alcohol to the point where you can't get a ride home or wait until you can drive home properly, then you, sir, or ma'am, or it, they, then, thou, whatever, have a problem. Period. Period.
Yeah, unfortunately, these things are rising, right? Due to the last couple of years, overdoses rising, depression, anxiety, all these problems that stem from that, and the fact that we closed down America and we closed down all the meetings in America. We, and not all of them. I guess they went virtual, but I'm gonna be honest with you, I hated virtual meetings.
Well, that's the thing.
It was
what a lot of people don't seem to understand is that boredom is very dangerous for an addict.
Can't be in here too long.
Very, very dangerous, because when you are high all the time seems to just fly by, right? Yeah. That was one of mine. I used to hate getting bored, and that used to be a big excuse. I'm bored, I'll get high. I mean, I got nothing else to do.
That's actually, if we're going to get into that, because, that's a lot of what, that's what took me out so many times, is being bored.
Yeah.
I would get sober, right? So before I even got in recovery, I would get out, I promised the wife, I'd promise the kids and my boss, because I had always promised him, because I showed up 13 hours, late this month. But, I had those promise people that I would get, all right, I'm done, I swear off of it. And I probably could have passed a lie detector test on the fact that I would never drink or use dope again,
Yeah.
And then I would go, sometimes I'd make it a week, 2 weeks, and I've rarely made it past that, but I would make a week or two, and the old stinking thinking would start happening. I'd feel, the problem was I'd feel good, right? I'd feel good. I finally got some money caught up. I got some bills caught up. I got the old lady off my back. The kids are getting along. I haven't seen the inside of my garage in 2 weeks.
Right.
The bills are paid, and then I would just, one or two things would happen. I'd feel good about how I was maneuvering through life and getting by, and I'd have to celebrate.
Your confidence gets in the way.
Good
old ego.
I'd be like, man, you know what?
This
will be different.
This is easy.
This will be different, right? And I swore. I remember swearing to my kids, before I'd come home from work or whatever, and I'd get ready to go to the bar or something, or go to the liquor store, and I'd be like, I'm only buying a half pint, and that's it, I'm done, and they're like, they're begging me, like, you're full of shit, right?
You did say pint, right?
No, I said half. I did. I was
okay,
real cool,
sure.
right?
Okay, half.
And then the bar was a block away. I'm gonna go up to the bar, I'm gonna have 2 drinks, and I'm gonna come home. I just need to, I need to get that.
Okay, I want to interject real fast. Don't lose your.
Yeah, good.
For those of you that are listening right now that may be fathers and are thinking along the same lines as Marty, and you do have a child, son or daughter, I want you to understand, I have never heard a child tell a cool story about their drunk dad. Never once.
When Dad passed out in the mashed potatoes.
It's never been a cool story. It's usually embarrassing. It's sad. It's depressing. And the kid is going through a lot because of it. But go ahead. I'm sorry. I just want to emphasize that it's not cool.
The things. And that's why they call it a family disease. Because, yes, I am the addict. I am the alcoholic. I have the actual dis-ease of the mind, right? I have that. The malady of spirit, right? I have that. But it affected everyone around me horribly.
Absolutely.
Horribly. My children, my wife, my wife and my girlfriends, and
for those of you that think you're hiding it, you're not.
Yeah, and the job, I left so many people, having to cover my slack at jobs and having to fire me and rehire me, and then I didn't give a damn about other people when it came down to it. I claimed to, but anyway, I would swear that I'm just going up for 2, and I would pass a lie detector test. I would have promised you, and the lie detectors would have proved that I was telling the truth, that I was going to come home after 2 drinks.
Yeah.
And once I got that 2 drinks in me, and that little sense of all bets are off.
Yeah.
Nothing on the planet, a cop, a wife, a job, a kid standing in front of me, nothing could stop me at that point. I'm getting more. And once I have 5 or 6 in me, I'm on the phone with the dope man every every single time. And that is the definition of a drug addict or an alcoholic. It's when a drug addict or it's when an addict, right? And I guess nowadays you can't say drug addict.
We're definitely getting into that later. You can't say addict at all if you go to Stanford. I'm coming for you, Stanford.
So I want to hear. I definitely want to hear about this because I got some opinions of myself, and I get it. This new wave stuff is like you can't insult people. You can't.
I don't get it at all. I don't give a flying rat's ass.
I am a drug addict. I am an alcoholic, and a lot of people say you don't have to call yourself a negative connotations like that. Yes, I do.
Yeah,
I do.
Absolutely, I do.
I do.
Stop trying to act like coddling people is going to make things better. There is no data that backs this up anywhere.
But Marty, you're a man who suffers from substance use disorder. No. Idiot. I'm a drug addict.
Yeah, that's the definition of an addict. If you look it up in the dictionary.
And listen, if that's and I'll be sensitive to you.
I won't.
He won't. I will. Look, I'm not going to sit there. I don't call people drug addicts. I don't call people alcoholics. I don't call you an asshole. You know, I do, right? Because you're my dude, right?
And
but I'm not going to be working with other addicts and alcoholics and they're an asshole and say, look, man, you're a freaking asshole.
Yeah.
Sorry, Chris. You got a lot of beeping to do.
I'm not going to bleep those out because we're not doing Google Ads with this.
Okie doke.
We're good.
So,
asshole away.
thank you, Chris. Yep. Chris Corn on the cob back there on the keys. But anyway, and I think, and what I did is and even when I got into recovery, I would do the same thing. Like I first got into recovery, I'd have months and months clean, and then I'd be in a recovery home, and this was not the greatest recovery homes. I didn't have much of resources back then. Yep. And I would go and I would get a job, and I'd get the Band-Aid on. I get the girl around the rooms, and everything was great. I get my job back. I get my kids talking to me again, because that's the first thing we reach for is like, oh my God, my kids. My kids need me. No, homie, they didn't. They don't. They will, but not right now.
And then the good old SS Minnow Johnson, the self-sabotage and Minnow Johnson shows up.
That's the one.
That's
right.
The one.
So what
driving
I do?
That ship straight down the lane.
Right. I get paid on Fridays, right? I'm excited. And I do this, and I go to Walmart on Friday because we get a little free time. We get to go kind of do our thing, and then I 4, 5, 6 weeks in a row, and I go to Walmart again, and I'm like, really? No, we might go bowling. Everybody, let's go sober bowling. Yeah, okay, that's great. I can do that one time, and then I'm done.
Yep.
Maybe twice.
Yep.
And now I'm bored. So I'm sitting there on a Friday night, and I'm like, you know what, dude? Like, this sucks. Like, and I got bored. And I get bored, I want to get drunk. Why? Because why not? I got nothing to lose. I got 60 days sober.
But let me ask you a question. If you wanted to go bowling today with the group of people that you have around you, would you think it was boring?
Nah, I'd love it.
Different shift in mindset, right?
Right. But back then,
it's the mindset.
Right.
We talk about it all the time. It's the mindset. Things suck when you want them to suck. I can make anything sound like it sucks.
I like going to Walmart sometimes.
You can talk about paying me $1 million, and I'd be like, oh, but the government's going to take half, and then after I get done paying those bills, and then I get my capital gains, and I'll make $1 million sound like it sucks if I want to.
Yeah, how many people?
That's a mindset.
I've said this, and how many people have said this? Like, yeah, you might win $20 million in the lottery, but the government's going to take 40-50%. Like,
cool.
Okay.
I'll take $5 right now.
I'll take $10 million. But anyway, no. I mean, I get it.
Mindset.
It is mindset. And when you start. And a lot has changed over the last 9 years, 10 years since I've been in recovery. Like it was different back then, and it's a lot better now. And being able to talk about, when I came out here and started talking, when I came out of the closet.
That's fair. We're hearing the truth.
Chris, don't
leave
you
that
dare.
in.
No, but when I came out and started talking about my recovery, there was only like one other guy out here doing what I was doing and going live and making videos and just making posts about recovery and that was the and
I want to focus on that because I know exactly where you're going and I love it. I'm so tired of I understand the anonymous part back then.
Yeah.
When they wrote the book a while ago,
1939.
It was.
Yeah.
It was you were shunned. Everything was different. The way that churches were, the way that workforce was, the way that everything was, it was different. It could cause harm to your lifestyle. If the wrong people found out about it.
A lot of these alcoholics back then, when there wasn't drug issues, wasn't really a thing.
But I don't want to be like to the point where I almost want to put a sticker on the back of the Porsche that says drug addict. Just to be a jerk.
I used to have one. It was a Deadhead sticker.
You know what I mean? Like I just don't see the point
it.
in being anonymous. And if you're listening to this, you don't need to be anonymous. There's nothing wrong with you. You're going through something that you're trying to figure out. And I want you to understand that you are loved, that you mean something. If you're sober right now and you're listening to this, you are extremely important to us. You are special because this is not easy. I'm 5+ years in this now. Yeah. And if I could go back and write out a map to what happened to me in the past 5 years and make a book out of it, wow.
Yeah.
It has been a journey
Well,
from $9 an hour and being nothing to driving a Porsche and never having to worry about when my paycheck is actually showing up. I get paid and I forget about it. I'm like, oh, what the heck? Oh, I got paid. Whoops.
Well, and you know, and that's the thing. There was such a we talk about stigma now, right?
Mm-hmm.
People want to talk about stigma. Okay, so what? Who gives a shit? You know what I mean? Like there's always going to be an addict or an alcoholic who's out there robbing your grandmother's car,
Yeah.
right? And that grandson or whatever is going to be, you know. I wish that was a.
I don't think anybody here is judging us for any of that, so it's okay.
I wish that was a faster process. Take my stroke.
Well, it's to the rim. But anyways, go ahead.
Thank you, babe.
Stigma.
So stigma is always going to be here, and you get all these people talk about how we're going to fight the stigma, and that's great. Yeah, let's reduce the stigma. The best way to do that is to have people come out and talk about it, man. You know, and especially like people really, when celebrities start coming out and talking about things like I'm an addict, I'm an alcoholic. I forget the football players' names, but he's in recovery.
Yep.
It's really helping reduce the stigma, but I don't care if stigma's here. Like I came out and started talking about. I work in an anonymous program. I'm a 12-step guy. I love I love the program that I work and the fellowships that we, it's by the 12 steps has stood the test of time since 1939. It's been here. It's been helping millions and millions and millions of people all over the world.
Okay, so just to clarify that, I will respect somebody else wanting to remain anonymous.
Yes.
That is not a problem. I personally, on the other hand, will get out in the front yard, half naked in the snow, and yell it to everybody so they can think I'm still on drugs, and then they can see all the great things happening in my life and wonder what's actually going on and get curious about me, right?
You know I'm going to challenge you to that.
Perfect.
Right?
Perfect.
What do they call it?
I like to break every stigma out there. Don't tie it to your face. You won't make a living. You won't be anything. I deal with multi-million-dollar people on a regular basis, and not one of them has ever been like, sir, I don't want you coming to my house because it makes me uncomfortable.
He's got tattoos on his face.
They're literally on my face. I have a spider web on my face and jewelry hanging halfway out my face. And because I carry myself in a way.
That's it right there.
That's it.
That's it.
There's so many people that'll be like, I forgot you had them. Mm-hmm. Because I don't act like I'm not trying to care. I didn't get tattooed to be cool. I do it because I like them. I've liked them since I was a 4-year-old kid and saw it on my uncle, right? I didn't do it for the cool factor. Yeah. This is just how I express myself. This tells the story of my life. Yeah. Every single one has a story that goes to it. So I broke that stigma, right?
Yeah.
You're going to be dead or in jail or all these things because you're a drug addict and your life's going to, okay. Yeah, if I would have continued down that path, you're right.
Absolutely.
But I stopped one day, made a decision, turned it all around.
Yep.
Every single stigma.
Yep. And
so I want to be loud about it.
And that's the point too, right? That's why, on my Facebook page, it says Marty Norman, not anonymous. And it said that for many years.
Absolutely. And I loved every minute of it. That's why I started talking to you.
You know what I mean? And really, I just couldn't fathom, right? I tell people this all the time. I was not anonymous in my addiction, right? I was on the front page of a lot of papers for several different times. I had the U.S. Marshals looking for me on the front page of my hometown paper. That I'm wanted, Marty Norman, U.S. Marshal. I'm not anonymous in all that addiction and all that chaos and all that misery that I caused myself and my family and the people around me. I wasn't anonymous. I was on the page, in and out of prisons, and now when I got sober, they're telling me to go to these church basements, go to these meetings, to be quiet, don't talk about it, be anonymous, and I just couldn't figure that out. Why? Why would I want to be quiet about this? And I used to complain and like, why do I need to do this? And my sponsor always told me, he's like, stop. He basically said, and Chris, you can beep this. He said, because I'd be complaining about this, right? Mm-hmm. And he said, Marty, who gives a shit what they're doing? What the are you supposed to be doing?
Right.
And I took that, maybe not in the way he meant, But I was like, well, I feel like I'm supposed to be talking about this. I feel like I'm supposed to be loud about my recovery. I feel like I'm supposed to stand on top of a building and say, this is what recovery can do for you. And if I can do this, so can you. I'm no different. Like, I don't hold myself with an egotistical mindset that I'm better than anybody or that I'm great and people should follow me. You know, I'm just like, I am the worst of the worst, and I made it out of that shit. And so can you.
All the time. I enjoyed posting my tokens.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And I used to, people would like private message me, you shouldn't do that because if you relapse and and while I understand the conversation and I was willing to have it, my reply back was always, then I'm just not going to relapse.
Yeah.
That is not an option. I will break up with my wife if I think I'm going to relapse, period. And she knows that. I told her that from day one. If you ever put me in a position where I feel like I need to get high because something went crazy because you promised me something and broke your word, I'm out. There's not even going to be a discussion. I am out. That goes for all my family. That goes for all my friends. That goes for my work. That goes for everybody. Period. I come first.
Yeah, that's how it's supposed to go, right? But with the stigma, and we're out here, and and since that time, since us going out and going live, and now it's a pretty big thing. There's a lot of recovery
as
pages.
It should be.
And there's a lot of people talking, a lot of people coming, a lot of people being loud about their recovery, and I love that, man. And I don't give a shit if one of them are, I hate the fact that a lot of them are going to end up relapsing due to statistics, but it just doesn't change the fact that recovery is possible and recovery works, and you can change your whole entire life. Like, I was literally living in the streets in poverty, sleeping outside, horribly physically addictive, mentally addicted to drugs and alcohol, and I never thought I would never be anything else. I knew that I would die with a needle in my arm or in prison. I don't know if people said that about me. I didn't care. I knew that there is no future for this. And that's how I live my life. Like, there's no way out of this. I'm either going to, because I can't stand the idea of living a mediocre life at that time. Like, it's either I'm going to be a drug addict and die, or I'm going to do something great, and I can't see a way to do anything great.
I'm all or nothing. There is no middle ground. I'm either all the way drug addict or I'm all the way successful.
Yeah, and I didn't see I had no vision of what that could look like or the steps it would take to get there.
You had a glimpse of it, though, right? When you first got into it, there was a glimpse. There was this glimpse of an idea, and we talked about this. And if you want to hear more about what this looks like, go back and listen. I believe it was like 3 episodes back, how you self-manifested without even realizing it, right?
I did that when I got put into jail for my last time. You know what I mean? That's what it took. I had to get some stability in my thoughts, right? So, yeah, I mean, I always thought, and that's why I said that too, because I was either going to do something great or I was going to die because I was done, right?
Honesty.
And the fact that
that's honesty.
It is, and it is. It's completely honest. And the fact that I said that I was going to do something great means I always had some inclination in me that something great was inside of me, but I just didn't know anything or how to do it.
So we're 9 years later, and you are in Louisville, Ohio, Missouri?
We're in Indianapolis right now.
We got involved. Right? We got involved. You're partnered with.
Yes, so I have
5 or 6.
I have 3 facilities that are up and running right now, and our 4th is opening up in Missouri.
Now those are treatment facilities. We're not including the houses.
Nope, not including the 5 recovery houses and none of that. So yeah, we have a dual diagnosis treatment facility involved in
so a right tattooed face, low life prison loser.
I am co-founder of
has 5 recovery houses and co-founder in 4 treatment centers.
4 treatment centers, correct.
Cool.
And
thanks, Stanford. Addict.
I am a drug addict. I am in long-term recovery, but I'm also a drug addict, man. And I have no qualms with that. I have no shame in that. I am what I am, and it ultimately took all the degradation and the horrible situations and places I was at and the people that hurt me and all the pain and suffering that came with it to make me who I am today.
Absolutely.
And I think what I struggle with a lot nowadays in recovery, like I'm very happy where we are with people talking about their anxieties.
Absolutely.
I'm very happy that we're being loud about our depressions and we're able to talk. And I'm very sad that we have to like soften everything and we can't say drug addict no more. And we'll get into that in just a second. I'm not happy. I'm not happy about that at all. Like let's Grab your boot heels and let's go.
We're going to
Let's
get
put in
into it,
some
but I
work.
just like, what are you spending your time on? We got way bigger problems. Like, people in your school are dying. You're not the exception to the rule. You just don't talk about it. You spend money hiding it.
Yeah.
People are dying in your school, Stanford. I guarantee it. You just waste people's money hiding it.
And you're coddling these people by.
And you're coddling the ever living crap out of them. And we have proof. We have data. People have done research on this. Yeah. It has done nothing but make the world worse. Europe started it, and it went downhill very fast for them.
Yeah.
Because that's not how we're wired. Life wasn't meant to be easy. It's just not going to be. So as soon as you can make it easier for them to grasp onto the concept, not try to delete the things that you think are actually causing it, help them to just grasp onto the things such as sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. I think I was 4 the first time I heard that. And that has so much meaning to it, and it's very simple. I decide what hurts me and what doesn't.
And I think that's the mindset. Like, okay, I understand in a lot of situations, you know, you're getting, and this is not, we're not talking about someone getting emotionally and abused by someone, but even so that we have a choice. Mm-hmm. You know, unless you're a child, we have a choice as to what we're going to deal with, who's in our life, who's in our circle, who we allow sitting next to us, who is in our passenger seat. We have a choice, but not only that, allow those people, any of those people in our lives, but secondly, allow how we're going to let that affect us. Mm-hmm. You could call me a no good, all these words, and you know what? Like, it really doesn't bother me.
Oh, people do it all the time to me.
It doesn't bother me. You know why it doesn't bother me? Because I don't care.
The greatest part that I enjoy is that people do it, and then I just say, let's get into a conversation. Just for a minute.
And I always say, I'm sorry you feel that way.
No, just like 10 minutes into it, they've changed their mind. Oh, now it makes sense. Yeah, it makes sense because you got to stop taking everything at face value. Everything is deeper than that. You're all just lazy, and you don't bother to spend the time. So every time someone, why do you think you're an asshole? Because I am. That doesn't make me a bad person.
I'm a good person.
Everybody needs an asshole in their life. Someone that'll tell you how it really is because they love you and they're willing to do that for you because it's very uncomfortable. It is very uncomfortable to tell someone, I feel like you might have a problem and you need some help, and I'm not going to help you. I will open doors. I will give you connections, but you got to do it on your own. If you don't, I'm out. I don't care if you're family. I don't care who you are. I'm out. I don't have to watch this. I don't need to watch this. I don't deserve to watch this.
Well, and that's the problem a lot of families have with that too, is they can't do that I'm out part. Well, I can't. Well, no, you know, and the truth is we have a lot of people ask yourself, you have a lot of people in your life that are just co-signers. You know, if you're in recovery and you got to, it doesn't matter where you're at. You have people in your life that are going to gas you up and co-sign your BS and say, yeah, man, that's right. F her, F him. Oh man, you got dogged on that.
Well, that was a stigma for a very long time.
That shouldn't have happened to you.
And up until about the age of 9, I think that still should be the stigma. I think that your mom and your dad should be in your corner pumping you up until you're about 9. And then you can start to understand different things, and your prefrontal cortex has developed to the point where this will start making sense. If you keep lying to them, they're going to know you're full of crap. But if you keep pumping them up, like, try harder, you can do better, you're great at this, like, don't tell them what to do, just keep pushing them in a positive way. I agree with that.
Don't get me wrong.
After that, you're enabling, because now you're just BSing.
Don't get me wrong. I believe in a modality it's called I'll tear you down just so I can build you back up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And have you ever heard the term sink or swim? Mm-hmm. Right? So my grandpa took that literally when I was about 9.
Nice.
He threw me, we was on the boat, and I was, I don't know, young, and he threw me in the water.
Yeah.
And he stood there. You're either going to sink or swim, and that's the metaphor I have heard my whole life. You know what I mean? And that's what I feel, and I feel that, and I understand that, and I'm so grateful he did that. Mm-hmm. You know, because once I got rid of the panic and the fear, I was able to swim. You know, once I realized my grandmother wasn't jumping in to save me, I was able to swim to the boat and be cool.
Absolutely.
And that's a huge metaphor for your life, man.
Yeah.
You know? So,
definitely. So real quick, I want to end on this. Like, help is out there. help us out there. You can reach
help.
out to Marty. I don't care where you are in the world.
I want to talk about help.
We can find you help. Marty can definitely find you help. And what I'll do is call Marty.
So it's real simple. Go to
fans at talkhardfans.com. Since Marty still can't remember that, he needs to watch some more episodes.
I don't even know.
Fans, FANS at talkhardfans.com.
But also, I want to talk about help too, because I want to talk about I want to educate some people real quick, because there's levels of care that need to be. They're designed in levels when it comes to treatment. Mm-hmm. There's levels of care that are designed in an order for a purpose. Yep. One, if you get from the first level to the end level, it's a period of time where you've been able to take some time to disconnect and to really focus on yourself. Generally, that's anywhere from 1 to 3 months.
Yep.
That's a good disconnection time. The longer you stay in treatment, the better. But it's designed in levels of care. Your first level of care in treatment is going to be your medical detox level of care. That's where you're going to take your time, and you're going to be in front of a doctor every day. You're going to be in front of a therapist. You're going to get medication. You're going to wean yourself off of whatever drugs or alcohol that you're on in a short period of time, anywhere from 7 to 10 days.
Up to 28.
Well, no, that's the next level of care, right? So that your actual detox is anywhere from 7 to 10 to 15 days, depending. If you're on Suboxone, methadone, it's going to be a little longer, right?
Because of shelf life.
Yeah, it's a horrible detox. It's
a half-life.
It's so physically addictive. Like, it takes longer.
I went down that road.
God, me too, man.
I did the self-medicated. I got connections on everything.
I would, I'm not against anybody who's on MATs. Mm-hmm. I just wish these providers and these doctors would actually educate their clients before pushing it on them. Like
every medication has a purpose, just like your depression medication. Unless you have physically had your head scanned and some doctor has said you are chemically imbalanced, we have measured this and we know this to be factual, not a conversation, then you're not depressing.
Not a 5-minute conversation.
Yeah, you're not. And now you can do it online, which is scaring the crap out of me right now. You're not depressed. You have depressing thoughts, and those are valid. Don't get me wrong. You just have depressing thoughts.
We're not doctors, by the way.
Right?
Just saying that outright.
I've seen Grey's Anatomy. I'm pretty damn close.
Yeah. That's what my daughter would say. That being said, though, medical detox is your first level of care. Yep. Second level of care after medical detox is your residential level of care. Now, detox and res are generally within the same building with same programming, and those are going to last anywhere from 21 to 28 days. Those two levels of care. Then you're going to step down to what pisses me off is a lot of people want to go to the hospital detox for 3 days and then go straight into a sober living or straight into an IOP. And you got IOPs and sober livings taking those people in, knowing that they just skipped a major part of treatment and wondering why they relapse.
So what I tell those people is read the first chapter and then skip ahead to the middle of the book and tell me at the end exactly what happened.
That's true, though. That's how, treatment takes time. Mm-hmm. You didn't become an addict overnight. You're not going to be done with this, and you're not going to have different behaviors and trains of thought and coping mechanisms. It has been
designed and tested for a reason.
Yeah, man. It takes time. It takes work. It takes practice. It takes repetitiveness to change habits. Right?
Absolutely.
So
it's harder to create new habits when you're breaking old ones at the same time.
So it's hard. It's hard.
Difficult.
And you know what? It's not going to be easy. And no one said it was going to be easy. If they told you it was going to be easy, they're liars and they're full of shit. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Because this is the hardest thing. Recovery is the hardest thing you'll ever do in your entire life, probably. And for a lot of people, it is. And it's also the greatest thing you'll ever do. And the bad news is you cannot do this alone. The good news is you don't have to. You got 50-some million of us out here in recovery, rocking our recoveries, who are willing to help, who are willing to put their hand out and say, look, this is what you need to do. This is how you're going to do it. And we'll be right here with you.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So the next level, the third level of care, after detox, res, then it comes PHP, IOP5, IOP3, and then sober living. These things are designed in a fashion, in levels of care, different modalities, different levels of responsibility. Each step down is a new freedom and a new responsibility and a little baby stepping you back into your life, baby stepping you back into responsibilities and things, right?
So I know this is triggering a ton of adults right now going, but I'm an adult and you can't tell me what to do.
You're right.
And my response is always, yeah, but what you do doesn't work. So why not be open to... We're not telling you what to do. We're making suggestions that are powerful and proven, right?
Proven, yes. And that's
proven.
The thing. And that's if a lot of people say this too, like, well, he's only willing, he only wants to do this, or she only wants to do this. Well, you're I know this is what the books teach you, and what this new world of college teaches a lot of therapists and whatnot. That, like, the addict has this say so, and I get it. It's true to a certain extent, but no, man, we need to press on somebody and be like, I know you just want to go to detox for 3 days and then go back home and go to your work, but it's not going to work.
Right.
You have that plan. I'm not going to co-sign that plan. No. This is the treatment plan I have laid out for you, and I suggest that you follow it because we're going to help you. And if your brain is the one that got you in this trouble, and now you're using the very same thing that got you in this trouble to say, well, I got a way to get out because I can figure it out. Because no,
if you had it figured out, you wouldn't be here.
Your thinking got you in this problem. Absolutely. Let somebody else do the thinking for you. Somebody that's been through it's done it, and found a way out. And that's why we're here. And that's why Chris put my number down there at the bottom if they need trouble, if they need help with, if you or a loved one are struggling with drug addiction,
loved one, friend,
alcoholism,
might just stop.
Call me.
Stop the coddling BS. This one's for Stanford. There's so many. They're saying we can't say American. They're saying we can't say addict. They're saying we can't say man hours. Like, shut up. Shut up. No one
what is
cares.
Stanford saying nowadays? You got what's
I mean, okay, this has only been 18 months. Now, I don't know this for a fact, but I know that what it costs to go to Stanford. So I imagine if you work there, you don't make less than $40,000 a year, because that's low, right?
If you're a professor, you're making it.
No, I'm just saying, like, people that work there, because they've got like 16,000 administrators.
Okay.
Out of probably the lowest of that, without volunteer work, is in the upper 50s.
Okay.
Right? 18 months to go through their websites, books, all their crap, and make a list of things that they are removing from their curriculum. I'm glad that you've wasted donor money and other things while people in your school are dying and your community is struggling. I guarantee it.
What words are they wanting to remove?
American.
So we can't say American?
No, you're a U.S. citizen.
So my wife is foreign. She's from Australia.
Yep.
President, my bad.
That's what she's considered.
No,
I'm
you're
sorry.
an American. I don't care. You're here.
Right?
You provide something to this country. You're an American.
I am a proud American.
Yes.
You know what I mean? I'm proud of America. I love America.
If you have come into this country legally and you are trying right now to get your citizenship, you're an American to me.
Come on.
Period.
Come on.
Because you are here putting in the work for what you want in your life. That's American.
What other
That's
words?
the definition of American. I got tired of reading the damn list.
Addict
was definitely one of them. You are a person that struggles with substance abuse or so. I mean,
so that's a definition.
I felt dumber after reading this, to be brutally honest with you.
What are people that struggle with depression, schizophrenia, anxiety? What are they?
No, you have to basically read the definition. You can't actually use the word. So all they really did was took the definition of the word, and that's what we're supposed to use. People are idiots, and they don't understand the definition is the actual word.
Because these words are offending people?
Apparently. Which is awesome, because I hope that they have basically, it's called the harmful language list, like brave.
Brave's harmful?
Because, Indians.
In my day, brave
I believe it has to do with Indians.
Native Americans.
Native Americans can't say Indians no more.
Well, no, you just have to define, like, if you are from India, you're an Indian.
You looked at him like you wanted to punch him.
Like, what are you talking about?
Native U.S. citizens.
Native American, sure, I'll call you both, but just don't tell me.
Native U.S. citizens.
First and foremost, you can't tell me what I can say. When something is slow, like traffic today, retarded my progress of getting here.
Oh, man.
I can use the word.
Oh, man.
Okay? I'm not talking about an individual, but it's still in the dictionary, and it is a word. I'm just not using it to slander people. What we should worry about...
When did we get so
And I feel the same way for those people that go to church that are mad about my language, okay? When I say, I don't give a f***, sorry, Chris, we can bleep that one out. They know what I'm saying. It's not because I'm trying to slander God or religion or anything. It's because I love someone enough to use the language that is needed to put them in the place that they need to be. Period.
Yeah.
And I will have this conversation with anybody that we can jump into the Bible any day of the week. I've read it multiple times. I know what it says, and I'll dive into it with anybody, hands down. And I will always go to the main part of it that says you can't judge me. This is a conversation I get to have with God, and I'm comfortable with the conversation I get to have with God. So let's just stop this right here.
It says you can't judge people?
No.
Oh, man.
No, but honestly,
Thou shalt
though,
not judge or judge others, for those will be judged by the Lord. And it's basically saying he's going to judge you 10 times harder than the way you judge people. So I don't understand why they try it at all.
It's just all goes back to the coddling bull BS. You know, it's just like, I mean, come on, man. Is there nothing going on in your life that you have to worry about what somebody else says and what they called you? I mean, come on, man. Like, yeah, do you have no goals in your life? Are you not grinding to get where you want to be in life? I mean, you call me, the man down the street driving down the road, call me an a-hole, or maybe he called me a drug addict.
Sweet.
He said, you drug it, because I got a tattoo on my face.
Yeah.
You know what? Who cares? Man, really ask yourself, if somebody's offending you and you get offended, why? Why are you offended? Who gives a shit what other people say and do? Are they affecting your pocketbook? Are they coming after your family? Did they steal your car? I mean, who cares?
Every time someone gets offended, I say the very same thing to them. Your weakness is showing. Because that is a weakness.
Button that lip up.
Period. That is a weakness. If you are so bothered to the point where you allow me space in your head because of something that I said 95% of the time, not because of you or saying anything directly to you. I wasn't being derogatory about you or anything else. Like, again, I said, if I work at McDonald's and you cruise by and you hand me your credit card, it says Dave, and I say, thank you, sir, and you're mad about it. Sorry, I have not met many female Daves yet. When I do, I might change that. Right. But up until now, in my 42 years of living, every Dave that I've met has been a dude. He stands when he pees.
Okay.
He writes this in the snow, right?
Yeah, he writes Dave in the snow.
So again, just the coddling, and Stanford, thank you for this, really, seriously, because I hate college anyways. So I'm hoping this even hurts you more. The bottom line is coddling doesn't work. If you go back in time and you look at all the different allergies and all the things that didn't exist 20 years ago until we started coddling everybody, and now there's more disease and things that have so many initials I don't even know what they are, with medications and side effects that are worse than the actual problem you have, is because we have created this through coddling people and trying to weaken America and weaken the world, right? And we all know that easy times create weak people. That scares me the most, because other countries, for the first time in my history, are looking at us like, I'm not too afraid to come to your country and do something stupid. You got a bunch of weak people over there that are too concerned with words, while people in other countries can't even leave their house. Full lockdown. And you care about what someone said to you? Grow up, please. But I still love you.
Guys, thank you for joining us. We will see you next week. Don't forget to subscribe and like this page. We love you all so effing much.